Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Rod's going to start us off with a look at your forecast.
Quick tip, if you're at home or you don't want to clean it, get rid of it. Just a quick tip.
That's easy.
Here we go. We have light rain moving across the area right now. It's actually steady on I-5 from Salem to Portland. None of this is heavy. Again, we have light winds, light rain, kind of foggy outside because the cloud deck is so low. So it will be a wet commute. 45 degrees is the temperature right now. To the bus stop we go. Rain jackets out all day long. We may not get that many dry breaks. I think either mist or light rain more than not. Mid-40s at lunchtime recess, and then when the kids get out of school later today, right around 48 degrees for a temperature.
Rob, thank you. We begin this morning with a recall election in Newberg that is too close to call. The early votes are in, but they're not enough to determine what will happen to 2 school board members. By 10 o'clock last night, about 52% of voters did not want to recall Board Chair Dave Brown and Vice Chair Brian Shannon. The pair led the effort to ban all political symbols on school grounds. At first, the ban only included Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ symbols, but the board later expanded it. Brown explained that decision to KGW last week.
It just came out as simple as that: politics in the classroom. And they are political and they are adult driven, and our kids are being used in a situation that can't happen, not in public schools.
We sent several emails to all members of the Newberg School Board, but no one has gotten back to us yet to comment on the election results. It may actually take up to a week before all the votes are counted, and here's why. This is the first election under Oregon's new voting rules. So mail-in ballots that are postmarked by or on Election Day count.
Greenway Elementary in the Beaverton School District is the latest metro area school to go back to remote learning. Teachers will use today to make the transition, so no classes at all today for those kids. But then they will be in remote classes for at least the next 2 days, tomorrow and Friday. We have a list of local school closures and other COVID-related schedule changes in an article posted to KGW.com. And if you text the word school to 503-226-5088, we'll text you back with a link to that article. Meanwhile, Portland Public Schools, Nina, continue to deal with a staffing shortage because of COVID.
Yeah, this past week there was a pretty heated back and forth between the district and the teachers union about sick days. Christine Pitawanich reached out to both to get some answers.
If you missed it, the head of HR at Portland Public Schools wrote a letter to teachers last week. It said in part that some last-minute teacher absences were concerning, and they'd heard there were educators trying to get their colleagues to call in sick with the intention of causing the district to close schools. The Portland Association of Teachers fired back with its own letter. It said the correspondence from the district was off base, demoralizing, and an insult to their profession.
My name is Elizabeth Teal. I'm currently serving as the president of the Portland Association of Teachers. As soon as that letter went out, I started hearing from dozens, maybe hundreds of members who just couldn't believe that that was the note in their inbox.
Elizabeth Teal says educators have had a difficult 2 years, reinventing what they do, trying to prioritize the health and needs of students, their families, and themselves, and all year trying to cover for the shortage of staff.
So that email from PPS was incredibly demoralizing. Felt like a kick in the teeth.
She says it caused more teachers to consider leaving the profession.
I have personally heard from a handful of educators who have said it was their last straw.
No doubt negotiations between the district and union before winter break is also impacting the relationship. The focus was on giving teachers more time to address students' social, emotional needs, as well as time for planning and prepping. Those negotiations fell through.
The last minutes of the negotiation, they suggested things like taking away a planning day from educators in June. And I think, as we sit at the table having these conversations, we weren't there to make trade-offs. Educators we're saying we're drowning and we need support.
We also asked a couple times to speak with someone from the district. We were sent this statement instead that said in part, our top priority at the moment is to work closely with our staff, partners, and labor partners to ensure our schools can remain open. Portland Public Schools is actively looking into the incidents referenced in the email to PAT educators and cannot share more detailed information at this time. Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.
Dialysis centers are feeling the strain of the Omicron surge. Labor shortages are impacting staff, but patients are really feeling it. Fresenius Kidney Care operates about 2,800 clinics across the country, including 53 in Oregon and Washington. 4 of those clinics have temporarily closed because of low staffing. One is in Northeast Portland's Hollywood district. Patients are shifting to other clinics, which is a big challenge for everyone.
There's not an option to not receive a dialysis treatment, and most of our patients receive a dialysis treatment 3 days a week.
We need people to apply and come work for an industry that saves the lives of people every day.
The company is actively working to recruit more nurses and technicians. It's also adding benefits and mental health support for people who work there.
Well, independent restaurants are still in a major uphill battle just trying to remain open during the pandemic. We spoke with Nate Tilden. He's a Portland restaurateur and co-owner of various spots around town. He says the time has come to close one for good, Clyde Common, in the heart of downtown.
We were part of the movement that really put Portland on the map. What we did with Clyde Common, 2007, we created a hotel, bar, and restaurant that was independently owned. I was the owner with a couple partners, silent partners. We said, what if this was like the place to be? Both food, both cocktail, wine program, energy. I think we can do groundbreaking.
Yep, Tilden says Clyde Common hasn't been making food or drinks since last spring as he tried to figure out what to do to keep going. But after 14 years, he announced the permanent closure over the weekend on social media.
Well, to wrap up his first year in office, President Joe Biden will hold his second formal press conference later this afternoon. Poll numbers are down right now, so the president definitely wants to make a shift. His administration is touting legislative successes so far, pointing to strong job growth and other policies aimed at helping Americans.
And it was the direct result of actions taken by President Biden and Democrats in Congress, including the American Rescue Plan, the vaccination effort it helped fund, and now the bipartisan infrastructure law. As one of the nation's greatest comebacks.
The White House is also bracing for tough questions on key setbacks like the seemingly doomed voting rights push in the Senate. President Biden will field questions from reporters later today, starting at 1 o'clock.
Well, the Biden administration also planning to ramp up efforts to fight wildfires as we get closer to spring and summer. It especially wants to focus on areas where forests meet suburban neighborhoods. The goal is for logging and controlled burns to thin vegetation in more fire-prone areas. The $50 billion proposal covers portions of Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, and Arizona. Work is set to begin this year, although specific projects haven't been released yet. We'll certainly keep you posted. Well, this morning we are talking winter. It is January, of course. How are we looking today? A little wet out there.
Yeah, mild temperatures though, so no complaints in the temperature department today or tomorrow. Here's Timberline, nice and quiet right now, 29 degrees. They picked up a couple inches of snow yesterday with the light precipitation that was falling. Want to point out that the Cascade passes for another day are going to be trouble-free. Clean pavement, 36 degrees at Government Camp right now, and clean pavement for the most part at Santiam Pass as well, 35 degrees there. Snow level today around 5,000 feet and actually above 6,000 feet going into tomorrow morning. All right, here we go. You see the moisture kind of spilling in. The light rain has been picking up across the area this morning. This band of clouds back here is the front that trails. That comes in tomorrow morning. So light rain today, heavier rain with the frontal band tomorrow morning, and that all ends tomorrow night, and we start that next stretch of dry weather. Temperatures I mentioned are nice. I mean, it's 49 in Salem and Eugene right now, mid-40s in Portland. The Dalles well above freezing, 34 degrees out in Pendleton to start your Wednesday morning. Here's the wide futurecast map, 9 o'clock this morning. Light rain areas here on the west side. Mostly cloudy in central Oregon, but I think primarily dry, and then dry and kind of partly sunny out across far eastern Oregon today. Now, 5 o'clock tonight, this shows the rain starting to pick up, either becoming even more widespread and also, I think, a little bit heavier rain. Tomorrow morning as the front comes in, here 6:30, see the yellow color. So that's some heavy rain pockets coming through. And then notice overnight tonight into tomorrow, the moisture spreads across much of the northwest as well. 48 today, light rain more than not. Tomorrow, heavy rain showers in the morning, scattered stuff in the afternoon. 53. Everybody becomes mostly sunny, and 52 Friday, and there's your dry weekend in the first part of next week. Back to you.
Love it. All right, Rod, thank you. From the wilderness to the canvas, there's a new exhibit showing the natural beauty of Oregon. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, you're going to meet the artist going outside to capture all that makes our state special and where you can see it. Plus, as the White House struggles to push for voting rights legislation, there's growing criticism about the Senate filibuster. Our Verified team clears up some misinformation about it when we come back.